There, we're going to start using some of the tech that we've had access to for a little bit on some of our space platforms because of the fact we now can do a little bit more, well, fun stuff with our crushers. Hello everybody, this is Frogman. Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. In between episodes, I've done a lot of research. I've cleared out everything that was with Gleba. Let's kick over here. Everything that was necessary within Gleba as far as the stuff that we can do. So we have advanced asteroid processing, which is amazing. That allows us to get, well, if I click on it, that means we can now, when we crush the iron and the coal and the, well, what is this, carbon and then oxide stuff, we get different types of things like calcite, sulfur, and copper. Now that's really cool because that means now we can make a self-repairing platform, technically, because those are all the parts that we need in order to be able to make the platform pieces. So because of that, I've started to use a little bit of that technology. So we're using some of the, well, we're using these crushers currently to craft on this particular one anyway. We're collecting out the calcite because we also in that process got the better recipe for both the thruster oxidizer and the thruster fuel, because those now take a little bit of calcite, a lot more water, a little less carbon to make a whole lot of fuel. So these platforms are now almost fully capable of an immediate turnaround as soon as they're loaded, which is something we haven't been able to do. So we're running back and forth between two places in about a minute or two. Actually, it's less than that. Actually, I haven't really timed it because I've been playing with the Gleba one because, well, I've been trying to see how bad we can make Gleba work. Gleba's awful. That planet's terrible. It's, whoa. Anyhow, but because of the fact that we can make a turnaround really quickly now, all we wait on is the delivery from the planet side to put stuff into our inventory, and then we blast off to the next planet. We get there, we throw things off, and for the most part, we're making fuel at the rate at which we're burning it right now, so things kind of just sit still. I'm working on, this is Eagle 5, because I've been having problems continuously with this one and its ammunition. I don't know why it just continues to run out of ammunition, even though I believe the settings are the same. I have moved to this type of a setting now with all of them, so we're using foundries, and I have started to craft, yes, because we got it already, the epic style stuff. I've started to craft epic solar panels just because of this little fancy thing now. Is we're making almost 4 or 5 times what we were with the regular solar panels. So I can now run things a little bit, and I should actually be able to do a little bit more with this one. But again, I'm just kind of fiddling with it. I wanted to make sure that it's doing what I wanted it to do, and we do have the, we have what is it, uncommon, what is it, what are these things, rares, rare turrets around the majority of everything, as well as rare asteroid collectors. Again, I've started to craft certain things into epic level because this is the general end goal, is that you're going to want to be able to build something that can get you clear the heck out to here, and in doing so you want to be, once again, as efficient as you possibly can. So we're sitting at Nauvis right now because I have been doing a little bit of work in between cameras, in between takes, in between episodes. We now have a very large eastern front, and it looks like I need to come back out here and clean things out. I've been having a hard time with this corner getting it cleared out, but we do have walls out here, we have walls clear the heck along out here, and we have a nice big long front up here, which opened up all of this area for our prospecting necessary needs, because there's an awful lot of iron and an awful lot of coal and an awful lot of goodness out there. We're starting to run out in a few places. I'm starting to get down a little lower than I would like to be. Some of these furnace arrays that we have are going to get torn out fairly soon and moved to a central location, central-ish location, probably across the road from this mess, and we're going to start using foundries to try to build a few things, because foundries will give us a lot of native productivity as well as a lot of ability to do a lot of fun stuff. So I think we can have a little bit of fun with them in the long run. Now I'm going to run out here real quick and make sure those guys don't keep beating on my non-existent walls, and we'll be right back. Been playing with the Tesla gun a little bit. This Tesla ammo is kind of interesting because it bounces in between enemies. it's certain enemies actually respond quite well to electrical damage, like the enemies that are on Gleba and bugs. When you use the destroyer capsules, they're actually really good to kind of clean this mess up. And if you continue to upgrade your electric weapons damage, your destroyer capsules get very strong. I was a little sloppy trying to clean out this area, and I let a few small little groups get in, and they have since kind of taken over. Although I think those might have been the last two for a little while. We'll have to see. I'll have to put some more radars up. You know, I'd love to have better radar coverage. I think that'd be a great, wonderful research. Alrighty, so we're going to swing back into base here on Nauvis for just a minute. We're probably going to be doing a lot of this from remote for right now because I've been kind of goofing around. But what I would like it to do while we're at it is, while we're here, I want you to go ahead and research everything we need for Aquilo, and then I'll continue to keep working on these. So, reasoning why I'm saying this is an interesting thing is because of the fact I said we were likely going to move science to Gleba. And then I got it figured out, at least at this point, that as long as I'm continuously doing science and delivering, doing the Glebian science and delivering it as quickly as possible, it doesn't rot fast enough to matter. So we're currently in this section right now, down a little bit. I should be making a little bit more than that. It's anywhere between 250 and 350 science per minute based on what else is going on. I've been having issues. This was a good idea. Don't get me wrong. This was a good idea. I should have separated out the basic stuff, the things that like the little parts and pieces that you need in order to be able to continue to do things. I should have separated those out into their own system, and I will be doing that probably here after a little while. And make just one specifically for the production of science and one specifically for the production of all the other little pieces. As it sits, I had to do a little bit of rework because I was not being able to get through the throughput that I needed here. And why are we stopped? We are stopped because our seeds are stocked up. Okay, good. Turn that back on. I've been playing around with a few things. As you noticed, I had to do a little bit of a willy woggle right here so that I could get things out. And since we're now capable of crafting the stack inserters, which as we can see, they stack things on top of the belts, that helps us to get a little bit more throughput out on top of these belts already. So I did go ahead and do a little bit of redoing, and then we have some stack inserters doing a little bit of work in here. I may end up doing a little bit more down lower on these. For what it's worth, I've based all of our throughput around what these belts can do. So it's not like I'm trying to over-program or over-stuff these belts too much. It's just the fact that I have to pay attention. So the current system, like I say, when it's running, is making about 340 of the farming science, whatever the heck this stuff is called. Where is it? This stuff, the agricultural science. Once it warms up and once it cranks up, it's like as we can see, it's kind of low on everything. The last thing at the end of the line is where we're making all of our goodness, the stuff here. And to be fair, we should probably use our nice brand new stack inserters down here to help get more throughput out onto that belt, because they're the biggest problem here. So we'll do that. All right. That's good. It's kind of interesting. It stacks stuff up slightly. We can adjust this so that they won't do things. And again, the stack inserters will actually wait until they have a large amount of stuff before they put it on. So it looks worse than it actually is. It actually has probably got a whole heck of a lot more on it. Plus, we're also splitting them and combining them. But anyhow, this will, again, they just kind of slowly filter up all the little circles. They'll slowly fill up and do what they need to do. These we're kind of messing around with a little bit of stuff. Again, I should have made these a little bit bigger. And the math, my God, the math. I'm an idiot, and I wasn't even thinking when I was doing math about eggs. The eggs, you have to remember when you're making eggs, that for every one egg, you get 4 out of these machines. But that means you take one of those eggs and put it back in the machine. Well, that math didn't work because I was being a moron here, stating that I needed, well, I think as far as these go, 4 eggs a second total to make all of this work. But on top of that, you're then going to need something like, I forget, it's another 2 or 3 or 4 more eggs per second just to make the whole thing work. So on plus every one of these. So yeah, it was one of those that just, for whatever reason, I just couldn't get it into my brain until I was sitting there staring at it going, oh yeah, That's what's wrong. Got it sorted. It works now. So as far as everything else goes here, I have to keep an eye on Gleba because we keep having little bitty critters move in up here. They're all the way up here. Haven't seen any a little bit, but not all that long ago, about an hour ago, I've been kind of playing for a little while. We had these farms decimated. They came in, set high, tore it all to shreds, and well, you know, lovely enough for them. I was on another planet and had to come back to, oh, I might have to go back again. Hit the map button. We may have a problem, which is what this is. So again, like with the other, well, like with Nauvis, you have to pay attention to the fact that this has a pollution radius and that you have to worry about the pollution radius. And from what I'm seeing, none of the other trees on Nauvis eat it. So it's not, or Nauvis, on Gleba eat the, whatever you want to call this stuff. I guess it's pollution, I guess it's spores, whatever it is. So it's just going to infinitely spread until it gets somebody angry at it. Unlike Nauvis, where if you're in an area where you can, you know, have trees, unlike us, we're in a desert and our pollution is spreading rather nicely. So, you know, it is something that I guess if we wanted to, we can craft trees now. We can make tree seeds now, which will allow us to then plant trees anywhere pretty much, and then we can grow trees, and those trees will allow us to process wood. Theoretically, you could play around and support your entire system on wood now, meaning I could burn wood, I could do things with wood. Wood has a lot of other things you can do with it. You know, you can make more plants, make more trees, make more stuff. But yeah, you can burn it if you want to, which is crazy. I may or may not put that in as a way of just kind of eating up some of this pollution eventually. It's not a big problem, not a big deal. We are halfway through getting Aquilo opened up. Again, this is going to take a minute because it has to go all the way back, wait on the stuff to be made, and then deliver it. So I'm also bringing a little bit of carbon fiber back. We're processing that as well. Whatever I say, where are we over here? The stack inserters require you to use both. Where did we go? Where are they? I hung them up here somewhere. Stack inserters require you to make, and you were supposed to pull that out. Whatever. They require jelly, regular bulk inserters, blue processing units, and carbon fiber to be able to craft. So I'm crafting them here for right now. As far as the rest of this goes, like I said, system has been running okay. It's just been kind of tuning and pruning and messing with it. The probably end with this is going to be, I'm either going to make it so I can completely shut these off here so that we just stop making eggs, because this is the most dangerous part. You have 15 minutes to use those eggs up. You either burn them into science or you let them run out of science and then not replenish them and build like a little system off to the side so that it can maintain taking care of a small amount, and then when you decide you want to do Gleba research, then you turn it back on. I'm figuring probably what's going to happen is any kind of the research that is going to require Glebanese, I'm going to just say it like that, it's kind of funny, research. So like the next layer of stuff, so legendary quality is going to require 5,000 of that research. Hit back, well, go back a little bit. Some of this other stuff on down the line. So I believe the foundations are going to need it. The quantum processor is going to need it. The captive biter spawner is going to need it. Rocket productivity doesn't, thank goodness. Fusion reactor, new things like that. The long line down here. So anything that's going to, I guess, underneath cryogenic science pack, which we're going to make on Aquilo, we have a lot of things that are going to eventually need to be able to make it. So it's going to be needed, and I'm probably just going to do this. I don't care. Again, Fulgora, I'm glad I did Fulgora first, because Fulgora has just taught you that there's a trash can. Essentially what we're going to be building here is a trash can. So it's over and over and over again, always trash can. Will you guys get through all of that, please? That's, ladies and gentlemen, why you make sure you set your filters. We had a mess because I had a bunch of stuff happening in there. Okay, onwards with what we were discussing about. Because I played on Fulgora first and got used to dealing with a trash can, this system manages itself. Essentially what it does, again, the stuff will just rot. It'll rot in these containers and become, well, more of the nutrients. And then the thing happens here is if we are in Gleba on the In our cargo landing pad, I have set this to spoilage at 500, meaning that should the stuff spoil in here, it no longer accounts for our cargo number as flying. So that means what it'll do is it'll just turn around and come back with a load of spoil, and the spoil will then be dumped into into the system on Gleba, and then Gleba will then reprocess the spoil into usable stuff and continue. I know it's kind of one of those things. I may, just depending on how much of a pain in the tail it becomes, we will likely, again, probably still move the science here, just because of the fact that it's that time it takes it to get from here to Nauvis is still time that we're wasting flying when we could just be dumping it into a bunch of labs and using it almost instantly. Now, when I do decide I'm going to change this up, we're going to probably double the amount of this happening down here. So we're going to go from probably 340 to 600, 700, or 800 Gleba science per minute here, so that we can then do a little bit of this stuff a lot quicker, because I'm again at the point where everything is 20 and 30,000 science, so it's taking a little while, which means that I will probably entirely gut the center out of this system. Hey, there we go. We'll entirely gut the center out of this system, build its own separate system somewhere else, like maybe up here or something, or maybe down here, I don't know. And then we'll just extend this, double the amount up, so that it can just make as much stuff as it needs to. So, Aquilo. Quillo's a freezing wasteland with ammonia. I know they're ammonia oceans. The most distant planet where the usage of solar panel is practically impossible. Logistics robots and construction robots are much weaker here. The only familiar resource here is coal or crude oil. Crude oil, so the base will be dependent on planetary logistics. Players should end up stranded without enough support from other planets. Surface is quite small and needs to be expanded. Oceans can be filled by ice platforms to be walkable. Item concrete can be used foundation for buildings and projects from ice from melting. Entities need to be heated to operate using the heating tower and entity heat pipes. Yes, this is something that's going to be interesting. I've known about this for a while. We're not going to fiddle with Aquilo right now. Aquilo is going to be another one of those things we're going to have to build a specific machine that's going to get us out here. The issue with Aquilo is that it is between Gleba and Fulgora, which is good. I mean, I'm assuming I can probably send a thing over here and it'll do whatever. We'll do the usual. We'll build us a new little ship here, and then I'll send it there, and we'll see what it's like. We'll fly back and forth. I'll do the same thing that I've done already several times. Just fly back and forth and see what it's like. See how ugly this is. I do know that I believe it's in between here and here, because they say it. I think it's here. One of these, from going out here, one of these ones out here, the asteroids get considerably bigger, which means we'll have to start using something a little bit more stronger to blow them up, specifically blow them up. But anyhow, we'll deal with that in a little bit. What I wanted to do with the rest of the discussion today, since I think I've been kind of just chilling here hoping that I got them all finally. Nope, there's still a whole bunch more out here. I do not know why. I cannot figure out where in the world I left a nest that's being such a pain in the butt. Let me go handle them again before they start knocking on our doors. I do realize that kind of seems a little overpowered, but I do want to say something, is when you want to start attacking some of these really big ones, that's not enough. I end up having to go in and using the poison capsules and an awful lot of cluster grenades, and that's actually what's kind of funny is the mix between poison capsules and a flamethrower does really, really, really well on some of these very, very large things. So we do have access to the other stuff. We do have access to the artillery, and one of these days I'll probably go ahead and set them up. I don't want artillery to blow things up like this, because I may keep that around. There's a couple of these other ones. There's several islands like down here that they're never going to be able to get to, so I kind of want to leave them alone just for giggles, because that will allow me to be able to capture those eventually. So our next goal and our next thing that I want to do is, I've had this little guy sitting here for a very, very, very long time, and I'd like this little guy to start doing something for us. So we have to collect spider eggs. So let me run back to base with my little friends in tow. Whee! And I will see you guys when we get this sorted. there's a few things I want to get done. Namely, one of the biggest things that I want to get done is access to productivity module 3s. So we're already on the workout for crafting a few things on Fulgurian areas where we're now starting to craft where are they? I think I've got a couple of them going already. Starting to craft the quality epic modules, which means we're getting a few things out of that whole mess, but that's also causing a couple of other problems. What's wrong with you? So we're going to start slowly recycling everything that is not an epic piece of stuff in here, which means there's an awful lot of things in here that are going to go away. I will probably go ahead and just use up a little bit of the resources that we have to craft things like a bunch of these and a bunch of these other little things that we have laying around because they're just necessary to make our lives better. But yes, we're starting to craft these are just what's left over of the uncommon or the rares. I've been putting them in our gear again so that they can do what they need to do. So on that level, when we're talking about stuff like this, we're going to have to figure out the next step. The next step for us to be able to do some things is a biter egg. Biter eggs, we have to capture a biter spawner, supply it with regular doses of the whatever that stuff is from Gleba. This stuff, so the bioflux. We have to start supplying bioflux to those things. Bioflux, thank God, rots in about an hour or two. I think it's an hour or two, right? 2 hours. Okay. What I do want to do is before you leave, my friend, I want you to pick up again some bioflux times, okay, and go back to Gleba. You're not done. I want you to pick up 200 of that. And there should be, what does it stack to? This is one of those things, I know I can set these different, but they're definitely a pain in the tail as to how they do this. What did I say in here? You have enough to fill a rocket. There's 100 sitting right there. There's 200 sitting right there. Come on. Pick it up. Rocket capacity 1,000. Oh, no. Custom minimum payload 200. That's perfect. Thank you. We're not bringing 1,000. Then we can remove this. You gotta pay attention to those numbers because if you don't have enough to fill a rocket, it will act stupid. And for now, all I want to do is just bring a couple of those things along so that we can fiddle with it. Okay, so that should be our 200. Now we'll leave. That's fine. I'm not worried about it right now. I've got way too much crap in this rocket anyway, so I'm going to have to probably turn some of these down. Let's see. Okay, well, once that gets back to Nauvis, we'll have a little bit of fun doing some goofy things, because what we need to do is we need to craft... where is it? You need to craft capture bot rocket recipe things, which means I also need to, okay, we're picking those up. Grab one of these and tell it we want that, and then you do that, and sure, we'll just leave it like that for now. How many does it take to make that work? 20. You can keep 20 on hand. That's fine. And you, I want you to request bioflux once it gets here. Nope. Go back to freaking Nauvis. Now, the turnaround is so good on this thing now that, like I say, they don't even care. I'm making too much water, too much fuel. They just turn right around. They just slow up, throw something off as they go by. It's hilarious. All right. Now, the thing is, we're going to need to be able to supply said thing with bioflux. So now we have a little bit of bioflux. We didn't get all of it. That's fine. I will have to put a note in... Actually, I don't think I'll worry about it right now. That's good. So that should have made a few of these. Okay. Take this many, and my rocket launcher... Wherever I put that, give me my rocket launcher back. And I put in... That looks like so many of the same thing. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we do that, and then we also probably want some of this bioflux, which I believe we've already eaten all of it. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. Well, I'm going to give that one a second to come back, and then we'll go back over there. I might actually tune that up to like 300. Cool. Let's go find out about how this is supposed to work. So I'm supposed to shoot. Still need to make those. Yes, I know. I'm supposed to shoot this with a thing and then supply it bioflux. Hey guys, come over here and die real quick. Away. What in the world? I got a bug over here. Die. Okay. Spider egg. Hungry. Aww. So you produce eggs if I give you stuff, right? So I put this down, and then you can do eggs rot, I wonder. Have some. Fine, I don't care. We'll see what it does. Power. I should be able to get one of those, like right there. Okay. And then you... give me one of those right there. Wow. So... what does it take? 1 a second? Do they rot? They do rot. Okay. Spoil result into bugs. Okay, that's fair. Biter eggs. This is where we got to go into our science here real quick. With biter eggs comes the ability to... where did we go? Back to Gleba Science. 1 second, sorry. So with biter eggs, that unlocks the ability to make a biolab, a overgrowth soil, productivity module 3s, and then down into the rest of this mess. Overgrowth soil, which allows growing plants anywhere in their biome. Oh, yes, please. I think we'll do that. Oh, nope. Yep, that bag up. Go back up here. I'm going to go ahead and do we're going to go ahead and get that lab locked in. You go to work on that. Overgrowth soil, you go to work on that. And also that, you go to work on that. And then I'm going to let these kind of sit here and do whatever. All right, cool. All right, well, that isn't terrible as long as you keep it fed, which we should be able to do that pretty simply. I mean, I know, excuse me, I bet you this stuff will probably rot quickly, so I'll leave it over here. But this, I think, is connected to the rest of the network, so they should be able to drag that over there. I know that's a long way to go. I might make a train to come over here. Huh. Cool. Well, there's 50 biter eggs, of which once we do a little bit of stuff with them, we can have fun with it. They will, in 30 minutes, turn into biters. Why don't you stay in there? So that also means I should be able to now shrink this down a lot, because then we just want them to show up and die should they accidentally hatch. Cool. All right, well, give me a second. Okay, so Technology Biolab has been researched. I'm just cleaning up this wall, making it a little smaller. Okay, probably all I will do is just do... is this going to shoot at that? No, it knows it's mine. Okay, well, we'll just do simple easy then. That should take care of anything that pops out of there. Alright, onwards. Alright, now we're going to let them do their flying and their wandering, and they're going to have to haul some stuff for a little ways. But again, we're just going to do this for a little bit. I am concerned because I should actually be able to do this into... You've got to be kidding me, guys. Come on. No, I can't do that? Oh, that's awful. Okay, well, we'll wait on the first BioLobs to come in while we're waiting on overgrowth soil to happen. And I'm going to start replacing these things. Which should, in theory, drastically increase our productivity when it comes to science. Boink. I will give you... Oh, wow, these are massive. Uh-oh. Well, that's going to be fun. That means we need to rip all this out and start over. What does it look like? That is an ugly looking thing. But it has 4 module slots versus this one's 2. And it should be able to consume science 50% faster. Or I should say, as it reads here, research speed plus 7, or 250% versus this one, which is 10, given that it's not hooked into anything. Can I get this right here and then say, no, give me one of those. You go right there, and you do those. 16 or 740%. Yeah, same deal. So it'll actually go considerably faster, plus 24% productivity, more pollution. But yes, science pack drain plus 20 or 50%, which means it should be able to work through them 50% faster. Which means I now get to rip all of these out and start over. So anyhow, I think that's enough fun for one day, at least with this. I've got a video to edit. This is going to be late as it is because I ended up spending the majority of the day, but that's what I wanted. I wanted one of those, and by the time this is going to be over with, we'll have those as well. So I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.